Y'all know who I am. I'm 63 years young, and my claim to fame is that I was keto before keto was cool. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to share my journey from fat and sick to thin and healthy. Join me as I take my trip to see the wizard. Y'all remember the movie The Wizard of Oz, right? I look at my 50-year diet struggle as the beginning of the movie. I'm 11 years old. I'm riding my bicycle, with my pup in the basket, of course, and trying to navigate my way through the world of dieting. I'm pedaling through the maze of low-calorie diets, counting my points diets, dealing my cards diet, buying my prepackaged food diet, all the low-fat diets, and eventually even fat-free diets. I was pedaling faster and faster, but yet I was getting nowhere. My life was spiraling out of control as if I was in a dun-dun-dun tornado. My life of following all the conventional dieting advice left me obese, hurting, and miserable. I was suffering from high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, several skin conditions, a heart condition, and I was taking 8 prescription medications. This tornado of bad advice and failed attempts to lose weight lands me in a strange and unfamiliar place. No, not Oz, but the world of keto. And I was seeing and hearing things that I just could not believe. And I ran into truth tellers. No, not the Munchkins and Glinda the Good Witch, but people like Gary Taubes and Jimmy Moore, and most importantly, our very own Dr. Eric Westman. They educated me, pointed me in the right direction, and sent me on my way. Just follow the keto brick road. Just follow the keto brick road. Just follow the keto brick road. So I started my journey, hopeful yet skeptical that this advice, which was the exact opposite of all the standard diet dogma, could actually work. Imagine my surprise as I began to enjoy the richness and flavor that healthy fats added to the taste of my food. Imagine my delight when I finished my meals and I was comfortably full and not longing for something else to fill me up. And imagine my joy when I woke up one day about 3 weeks into my journey and I realized I was no longer craving carbohydrates. Free at last, I'm free at last. Oops, wrong movie quote. Anyway, I was off to a wonderful start, losing weight and feeling great. For a few years, I just kept moving on down the keto brick road. Eventually, I encountered the dreaded stall, and I started to lose a little of the skip in my step. I ran into someone along my path. No, not the scarecrow. It was Dr. Ken Berry, and he shared so much helpful information. He taught me about the value of continually tweaking this program to achieve my ultimate goal of good health. He suggested that I leave all the processed, low-carb foods behind and concentrate on real, fresh, single-ingredient foods. And he encouraged me to quit playing the net carb game and count total carbs for the win. With that advice, I picked up speed and headed on down the keto brick road. Sadly, weight loss began to slow again, and I knew I needed to tweak something else. It just so happened that I ran into someone else on the keto road. No, not the Tin Man. It was Dr. Boz, and she reminded me that just because a food is completely keto doesn't mean it's a perfect fit for you. Particularly if it's something that you can eat too much of, like nuts and nut flours. I had to admit that made perfect sense, so I took her advice and headed on down the keto brick road with the scale moving in the right direction and a little more pep in my step. As I continued on my journey, I noticed that I was still suffering from inflammation, some occasional bloating, and the scale was just being stubborn. I ran into someone else on my path. No, not the Cowardly Lion. It was the 2 keto dudes. They shared everyone's body reacts differently to certain foods and that you need to listen to your own body. They mentioned that dairy can be a problem for a lot of people. Oh, I do love me some cheese. Okay, I love me a lot of cheese. But if it's keeping me inflamed and slowing my progress, I was willing to give dairy-free a try. Sure enough, I started to feel better and the scale rewarded me for my efforts, so I kept moving on down the keto road. As you lose massive amounts of weight, eventually it feels like the scale just comes to a screeching stop, unwilling to move no matter what you do. I felt like I had tweaked everything, and then I ran into someone else on the keto road. No, it wasn't the Wicked Witch of the West. It was Kim Howerton, but what she was proposing sounded pretty darn wicked to me. She suggested I needed to give up sweeteners. Please, no, not my sweeteners. But she explained that my body was reacting to a sweet substance that it naturally assumed was glucose. With higher insulin at work, my body could not readily release my remaining fat. So armed with that convincing information, I headed off down the road. The keto brick road has been fraught with twists and turns and tweaks. I was wondering what else could possibly lie ahead. I was hearing a lot of talk about the wizard. Everyone was saying that the wizard held the final piece to the puzzle. The buzz along the keto brick road was that if I followed the advice of the wizard, it would heal my remaining health issues and carry me to goal. Who was this wizard? Dr. Jason Fong. And he was using the F word. No, not that F word. But almost as bad. Fasting? Honestly, I could not wrap my brain around it. But I listened, I studied, and the results seemed remarkable. I had to at least give it a try. I stand here today before you, the product of the perfect combination of keto and fasting. I've lost a total of 255 pounds. I am off all 8 of my medications. My cardiologist has declared me no longer a cardiac patient. I am free from a myriad of skin conditions, and my health markers are all excellent. And if that is not a happy enough ending to this story, you know all those tweaks that I made along this almost 7-year journey? It turns out that when you get to your goal and you keep keto and fasting as your permanent way of life, all of those foods like nuts and dairy and sweeteners can be added back in on an occasional basis in moderation without problems. So the moral of this story is you have the power to make your dreams come true. And you don't even need a pair of ruby slippers to get there. If you are willing to continually make the necessary tweaks for your body, you too can achieve your goals. There's no place like keto. There's no place like keto. There's no place like keto.